to the USB or whatever, I think I left it unpressed so you won't get cut off.
Okay.
All right, cool. You ready to do this?
If you are.
All right, let's go. Hey, what are the? I mean, wait. What? All right, here we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Test Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host.
Karen.
And you may think I sound a little different because I do. I got a different setup, and I'm in New York. Okay, it's different. It's the big city of dreams. It's the Big Apple.
That
It's
concrete jungle, as they call it.
the concrete jungle. So I'm recording. Tomorrow I go in for season 2 of Game Theory. So we had to do that. I just been traveling all day. Well, not all day, but setting up travel stuff all day. So I may sound a little subdued. Also, I'm in an apartment, in in New York, so it's like you don't want to be yelling. It's a little different, like where we at,
Yeah,
we can be loud as we want.
that's true. That's true. Can your camera move over? Because when you're talking to the mic, it's like you're not even centered.
Oh, shit. So I'm getting a new microphone stand
Okay.
because of that.
Oh, no
Um,
problem. I'm about to say if you could just move the camera over, it would just center you.
is it working now? Is it?
I mean, yeah.
How's
I
that?
mean, yeah. We could see you, but when you was talking into the mic, it was like it was like half of your face was on, half of your face was off. That's why I was like, if you have like a moving camera, you shift it over, you'd be good.
Yeah, and so one of the reasons we're recording right now is because of stuff like that. Because
Ah, okay.
we
You want
I'm
to
trying to
test it?
figure out the best setup and all this stuff and make sure the audio stuff works here.
Okay.
Make sure the Wi-Fi doesn't cut out in the middle of the show and shit like that. So this is
Right.
kind of a test show. It probably won't be long.
Mm-mm.
And we've done this before, y'all. The show for a while with me working full time during the day and then doing a podcast sporadically throughout the week. It may not be as informationally detailed as it no.
as it normally as it normally is. It might be we might not be up on all of the news. All of the news.
Yeah, we might start sounding like a lot of these other podcasts with these hot takes where they don't know what's happening and shit. Where they be like,
But you know me, I'm like, I
I
don't
think
know.
I think Elon Musk did something. I don't know. He did
I don't know
something.
what he
Yeah.
did. He fucked up somewhere. And it's
I don't.
gonna
They
be a
was
whole
mad,
lot more. Who?
right? I think they was mad. I don't know. So
And you
hopefully
might
it
get
won't
some
be.
who's from Roderick. So hey, that'll be new because I normally don't know shit.
So hopefully it won't be that bad. But yeah. So it's been a heck of a day. I'll go through some of the stuff and talk about the travel and all that
Okay,
stuff.
we can do
Um,
that.
you also may hear some noises here. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but like
Mm-mm.
I got a heater radiator thing in here to my right. I
Okay,
got
I know.
air
Mhm.
conditioning in the window back here that cuts on sporadically. I got a fan in here going. I don't
Mm-mm.
think it sounds too bad,
It
but
does. We can't hear it at all, and I think a lot of that has
okay,
to do with our mics because our mics.
right.
If you talk into it, that's all it pick up. Versus other people. I mean, we could set our mics to that, but there's no reason in trying to pick up everything around you.
Yeah. So the long story short, well, first of all, how you doing? I miss you today.
I miss you too. I have been good. I've been just chilling. I didn't mean to knock you out of what is it, the red zone. I didn't realize the red
Oh,
zone today.
direct
I was like,
TV.
yeah, direct TV. So I was like, well, yeah, I was like, when Roger gone, I'll just do the direct TV, and watch the games because that's what me and Roderick normally do. We normally sit and we
Yeah.
just watch the games and stuff.
Yeah,
So I was
the games really watch me. No,
that's true.
normally you be in the other room playing video games. That's why I didn't think you would be watching. I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch Red Zone
Hmm.
because normally, when I'm watching it, you'll be playing video games or something, and then you might come in there sometimes later in the afternoon if I make something to eat. But
Hmm. Because I've been
yeah,
really liking uh, 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 bear and breakfast. So that's what I've
mhm,
been playing.
yeah. Well, I Yeah, well, that was funny, but yeah, I did watch it, and I fell asleep on it because I really was tired because
Mm,
I like to take an early flight rather than the later middle of the day because
yes,
if something goes wrong, maybe you get bumped to a flight a couple hours later as opposed to like a red eye or the next day, and
cor-
so
correct, correct.
I didn't get to sleep much.
Right, and on top of that, with you going to New York City from Charlotte, with Charlotte being a hub, it's a lot of more frequent flights. I found out, like to New
Yeah.
York, and so last time I went, I think I missed it by like a few minutes, and like I
Mhm.
said, they was like, "Well, good thing you came around in the morning. We could just bump you on the next flight," you know. So and
Right.
it was maybe an hour later or something
Right.
like that, you know. So versus you get late on in the day or in the middle of the day with all the other delays and things like that. So that stuff matters too.
Yeah, I did end up packing better this time. But of course stuff still was all topsy turvy. My flight catching my flight was fine. TSA pre-check, I swear by it, it's the best.
The best thing ever, cause I be looking like it's like me and the Hornets tickets. I be like, I'm not standing in the line with the paws. I'm flashing this
Yeah,
badge.
and I had bought a new smaller mixer so I could put it in my bag and stuff to go with it. And what was interesting is like I remember last time I went to New York, for some reason it made me take the mixer out of my bag and look through it. And they normally with TSA pre-check, whatever's in the bag is just in the bag. And this time they didn't give a fuck. Like I think I left like my AirPods in one of my jacket pockets. I left my like the mixer was just stayed in the bag. I didn't open it. They didn't
And
look
I think
through
with it
it.
being smaller too, it might not have flagged through the screening. Who
Yeah, who
knows?
knows? Yeah, it
Right.
was just and actually I left it in the box. Like I packed a couple things, just left them in the box so that if they want to go in there and open the
We
box they
They
can.
can see exactly what it is, right? We ain't got to go through the wrestling and shit. I don't blame you.
But yeah, it was definitely worth it. I
Mm.
mean, I swear
Ain't
by
got to
this
take off
shit.
your shoes and shit.
Yeah, every time is worth
Right.
it,
That's just
especially as a
fucking
black
annoying.
person. You don't want no extra reason for them to stop and frisk you or whatever the fuck, look through your hair, whatever.
That was my biggest thing. That's why I got the TSA and I got the global one where like if you go like abroad, you could actually quicken the process for when you like leaving the country and coming back into the country, your shit is like automatically in there.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I started being like the white women when I put like this. I didn't care what the weather was. I was wearing motherfucking tights. I was
Hmm.
grabbing the motherfucking yoga pants because I was like yoga pants and long socks and tennis shoes. Cause bitch, I got tired of every time I went in there. They was like, let me pat you down. Or every time I went in, they was like, let me feel through your hair. I was, so I was like, well, fuck this. Let me just pay the fee so I don't have to go through this bullshit.
Yeah, it was funny because what this one woman who was working TSA, she was like, yeah, just put your instead of taking like, because I said y'all don't have that bowl thing that you put it in. I think they
Right.
call it a bowler or whatever. I said y'all don't have that thing, and she said no, just throw it all in your bag. And I said, oh, and I said okay, and then I threw it all in my bag. She said, see, wasn't that easier? And then you don't have to get mad and accuse us of taking something or whatever. I said I don't get mad. And then she was like, well, a lot of people do. I said, I hear you. But yeah, she was like, gave me a little shortcut because I had I was waiting on them to give me a bin to put everything in. So like I
Yeah,
guess that's
yeah,
a
because
way
a
to
lot of
save
airports
time.
do that.
So
They just make you do the bin, but yeah.
yeah, they was out on that side, and I
Ah,
didn't want to roll
okay.
my shit through one at a time. Like, here's my wallet, here's my keys. So I just threw it all together. But yeah, she said you can just throw it all in the same bag, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's a good little trick. I'll remember that next time.
Quick in the
Um,
process.
and the flight was interesting because um I think if I was had to guess, I'd say 20% of people wore a mask,
Okay.
maybe 25, maybe, but probably
Right.
closer to 20 or a little lower.
Hmm.
And what's interesting about that, we know that the coronavirus shit is coming back. We know this is a surge, RSV, the flu, whatever, right? 300 people probably on a plane. Um, and I had my mask on. I sat next to a dude that wore his mask. And he slept the whole flight, so he was cool. Um, I fucking uh thought I left my AirPods at home. Got landed in New York and realized I just had them in my jacket pocket that I had taken my jacket off earlier. And it was so funny. I bought some new headphones in the airport because I was like, oh man, I fucked up. I must have left them at home. I'll just tell Karen to just take care of them for me. And the new headphones I bought, of course, they wasn't even they had no charge. So like I
Oh,
couldn't listen when you try to
use
turn them
them.
on, they want you. And now that's so fucking bootleg and it's such a goddamn ripoff. And they know it's a ripoff because if you think about it,
At least have
when you
some
buy
charge in
AirPods,
them.
yeah, when you buy AirPods, like they work right away. So it was such like I said, oh, they got me for $25. You motherfuckers. You knew people be desperate for headphones.
Mhm.
And the least you could do is have some that's already charged up or hold a
Even if it's
charge.
not a lot, like kind of charged up. So if it dies, they can just put them in whatever charging case they have.
It's just a quick flight. You would think, this shit gonna hold a charge for an hour. Nigga,
Right.
it wouldn't even cut the fuck on. These motherfuckers.
Oh, was
Um
it off brand?
yeah, it was off brand. Ain't got no
Yeah.
motherfucking real brands up in there. It was only one store open too because it was early in the morning. So but who knows what the airport prices for headphones that work would be? $25
Ooh.
for the broke ones. AirPods probably cost you a fucking kidney up in that bitch.
It was like, oh, you want the ones that work? Oh, you want the ones
Right.
that's compatible to the shit you already have?
Right. And so then so then I get on the plane, it doesn't work. The dude next to me, man, I could just see him looking at me trying to figure this out. And I was so, I get anxious when I travel. I was a little
Hmm.
flustered from just different stuff happening at the same time. And the way that this travel has worked out is not ideal for me. I
Right.
prefer to
Everything to
be
be
able to
kind of
plan
mapped out a little bit
things
better. Yeah.
a few weeks in advance, so I really have a lot more options and I can get my routine set and all this shit. And I'm really not able to do that this time.
Hmm.
And so I'm already kind of flustered. And I was looking like fucking Mr. Bean on the plane because I couldn't get the headphones to work. Then I dropped my phone. Then I try to pick my phone up. Then I dropped the tablet. Then I pull out my tablet, and it was just like, oh. And then meanwhile, everybody's walking by us to get to their seats and shit. And I was so awkward. And thank God, she was a very polite dude. He didn't point nothing out or say nothing to me. I knew it was gonna
Hmm.
be an awkward travel because I couldn't even remember what my fucking seat was because I was expecting it to be like the movie theaters where the seat was on the like what seat number would be on the seat, but it was
Hmm.
in the overhead compartment or some shit. And
Yeah, yeah, this is above your head. Yeah, I'm sitting in the wrong seat because I was like, wait a minute. Yes,
I was sure it was my seat, but I also had that moment of panic, like, what if I'm sitting in the wrong seat? That would be
I've
some
done that
shit I
before.
would
Yeah, I've
do.
had to move.
And so I
Yeah.
turned around to the flight attendant and said, "Hey, which seat is 2C?" And she was like, "Oh, it's right there. You at the right seat." I said, "Thank you." And this brother behind me was like, "Yeah, man, for future reference, it's actually on the overhead bin, not on the seat." I said, "Oh, okay, cool." But at the same time, I wanted to be like, "Nigga, I do's this. Okay, I flown first class before. Okay, I ain't a broke bitch." You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah. And I've had that happen to me before. I think it was when I was coming up to see you.
mhm.
We had like a little bit of turbulence. And so it was me and like a white dude beside me. I didn't say nothing to him. He didn't say nothing to me. The only time he started speaking was when we had the turbulence. He was mad because he was like, it's like, what the fuck is he doing? And then,
White people are
and,
different. White people
yeah,
be like my black ass. I'll be on the plane just happy we don't land in another country and be enslaved. You know what I mean? The white
ain't
people
that
be
the
like,
truth?
God damn it, I'm gonna go talk to the captain. You're like,
That,
what?
that
Just
that
sit
was
your
his
ass
whole
down. You can't.
attitude. He was like, I
You
don't know
know,
what this pallet is doing. And then,
it was like with that time we was on that plane and the cargo bay door wouldn't close and the woman
oh,
kept being
oh,
like,
when we was coming
what
back
is the
from
problem? They need to take off. I said, bitch, with a cargo bay. Do you understand what aerodynamics are? However long they
It takes
decide
them.
for us to wait.
My
That's
black
how
ass
long
gonna
we
say,
need to wait. And honestly, if they say we need to get the fuck off and get on
off this
another flight,
plane, I'm getting
I'll
off this bitch.
gladly do it because what I don't want to be is on Final Destination. Okay.
Ain't that the truth? And I remember that white woman showed her ass so bad. The flight attendants actually got off the plane, y'all. When I tell you,
Yeah, they was
every
gonna
time one
slap
of them
her
passed
ass.
her, she
Uh,
stopped them and she ran it and she raved.
then so another thing that happened too was I checked my bags at the curbside check, which is just baller. I love that. It's so crazy. Like life is so crazy because I think to check your bags on the curbside is like $3 a bag
Yeah, most
or
people
something.
probably walk right past them people.
And it's just a couple brothers out there. They got carts and they just basically run your shit in. And I'm like, so I'm with me carrying 4, 5, I'm carrying a lot of shit for because
Right.
4 months worth of stuff I got to take up here. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, y'all got it. And he ran it. And then he was like, you could add a tip if you want to, but he forgot to put the tip in. And so I was like, here's a little something, for you. And he was all like, man, God bless you, man. Happy holidays, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. I know this brother gonna take care of my bags. I was happy as hell. That's what happened last time. I said, cool, you make sure you tip them, they call
Hmm.
me Mr. Tips, they know your boy around here. And so I get to shout out to jail come in. And so I get to New York and oh shit, on the flight. I forgot to mention this. We'll get back to this. It's important. But
Hmm.
on the flight, it's not just that these motherfuckers ain't have masks. I mean, coughing, sneezing.
Yes,
I
that shit's
mean,
starting to come back because I've been telling everybody for the past 2 years. That shit has been kind of on the decrease because
mhm,
people have been wearing their masks, they've been staying
right,
away from each other and shit like that. So I can't speak for nobody else, but I've realized that you don't get that random.
right.
You don't get
And
that.
and like
All that
sneeze,
has stopped.
one woman at the end, baby, she sneezed. I'm not joking. She sneezed a good 8, 9 times in a row.
Oh,
I
she
was
allergic
no
to
mask.
something?
I just like, what, ma'am? What's happening? What's happening, everybody? I just wanted to stand up and ask, what was wrong with everybody because you in a big. We're all gonna be in a big sardine can for a few hours,
Mm-hmm.
possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Even for yourself, you don't want to protect yourself. That like
Mm-mm.
that's not like that's not even me trying to be too judgmental. Just like, bruh, don't you care about you? I care about me, but yeah.
They don't. That's why the self checkout got boo boo on it because people don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, so I mean, you're right. They didn't care. At the end of the day, um, a whole
They won't
lot of
wash their
people,
hands. They won't wear masks.
right? And a whole lot of people just basically sat up there and coughed and wheezed all the way to New York, man. And
Because everybody think they special until something happens to them.
yeah, the dude in front of me and in front of not my seat, but the dude that was sleeping next to me, like the guy in front of him just was coughing the whole time. I was like, don't you think you might have something if you can't
Like,
stop coughing?
even
It's
if
not
it's
like you're
just
eating
a
food
common
and
cold, yeah, it don't even have to be COVID. It could be a common cold. It could
yeah,
be like literally anything. And people are just not considerate at all, particularly Americans. They're not considerate at all about bullshit like that.
yeah. I just you just gotta hope the mask is doing this thing and that you're doing
Hmm.
enough.
Put like this: the mask reduce the risk.
Right.
It might not be 100%, but at least I have a fucking barrier between your coughing particles in my nose.
Yeah. So that was pretty frustrating dealing
I can
with
see
that.
that.
Um and then there was this one uh flight attendant that was she was you ever see people where like their attitude is how much they don't want to be at work and they make it their whole personality.
Hmm.
Well, that was this sister. She like she was cracking me up. I wasn't, she couldn't see me smiling or laughing, but she was cracking me up so much because her whole thing was just I ain't trying to deal with all this. And she was just like openly, blatantly
She's like,
loud
these
about
niggas coughing, they're acting a fool. I got to be here no matter what. I've
it. And
been dealing with this for 8 hours.
she was doing that passive aggressive thing where every black person knows this. The thing where the black woman, this black person, this well, it's normally black women. This black woman is talking to her coworker, but she really talking to y'all. You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about? Cause you know
Yes.
that thing was like, cause they ain't
When
gonna
it's
have me up
loud,
in here
when
looking
it's loud
stupid.
enough, it's loud enough where people can hear. Yeah.
And what? So they told everybody to put their phones in airplane mode, and
Right, because that
apparently,
makes a difference.
yeah, somebody decided they was fucking taking a phone call or some shit. And she was like, because they ain't gonna have me up in there. Y'all told them straight up. I said, get off the phone, okay? It's time for airplane mode. That means nothing, no calls, no nothing. And the person was on the phone, and she stopped and said, "Yes, I'm looking at you. You need to get off the phone."
Right. You need to get off the phone.
But like it was like that was a moment where we all would agree and think that like, oh, shout out to her, right? But some of the stuff was just like funny to me because like she just seemed like one of the people that has their ways, and one of her ways was the white flight attendant was like, when the pilot comes on, he's like, all right, the flight attendants, take your seats, we're about to take off. Something like or whatever, like the
Yeah.
bell goes off. Not he didn't say it yet, but the bell went off to go sit down and the lights went down.
Yeah.
And she was like, talking to the other person, like, girl, I don't sit down to the last minute, okay? I don't like these seats or whatever. So she waited to the last minute to sit. Also when it was time to do the like flight attendant,
The
the
speech they
safety,
give.
she did it. She was in my area up front, but like some of the materials in the back, so she made a big production. I'm like, I gotta go all the way to the back just to get this stuff. And then she came back, and then she did all the like the pantomimes, but it was all like
Yes, the movements and shit. I
sassy.
always laugh at that stuff.
I thought she was great. I don't. She
That's
was.
hilarious. She said, yeah, you. Because, when
Yeah.
people feel, and I didn't realize this, when people feel like they tell you to do that for a reason, they ain't tell you to cut that shit out just because they ain't got nothing else to do. They don't want you to have service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know why they tell us to do it. Honestly, and also like I find the instructions confusing. Because I always like put your phone in airplane mode. But if you like to use the Wi-Fi for the flight, pay $12 and you can use the Wi-Fi for the flight. All devices and tablets must be put up unless you want to hold it in your hand. Then you can hold it in your hand. Put your laptops under the seat. But then she told somebody to put their bag under the seat. She said you can't put your bag under your seat and take off. And I was like, but they just said on the instructions. I just honestly err on the side of just like I put everything away and just like wait till we take off, and then I'm like, cool. Although I won't lie, half the time I do not put my phone in airplane mode. I
After
just
a while, your phone ain't
just
gonna get no
don't do shit.
reception anyway.
Yeah, because they turned it off anyway. I got the little notification on my Apple Watch that was like, you left your phone behind. I was like, no, they hit the switch. They said you
Yeah.
you want to be on Twitter, nigga? You better give us $12. And I said, no, thank you. Although they do have something new, you can be on the. Oh, it might not be that new, but you can use the flight Wi-Fi for a limited amount of time. But if you watch commercials,
That's new. That's a good way to get more people to because a lot of people is like, I'm not paying $12.99 a minute. Like this is a
yeah,
long distance phone call just because I'm 3,000 feet in the air and can't get no reception.
right. So yeah, it was interesting to do that with the flight, and then when I got off, I get a text as I'm waiting for my bags, and it's one of your bags is not coming because
Oh shit.
it's gonna be on a later flight to New York. And I said, nigga, I tipped you cash.
I bet you that wasn't him. That probably had to do with the bloating people.
Honestly, Karen, he should have kicked whoever else's luggage off the plane. Okay. I
Ah,
put it on
ah.
him. I put it on him. I gave you cash. And the one that was and the one that was missing was the one with my Xbox in it. So I was like,
Oh.
no. Now what to be honest, once I started unpacking, I was like, I probably could have only took one bag because I was like unpacking everything. I was like, oh no, I got all my essentials in this bag. The only thing missing is the stuff to cut my hair.
Mhm.
And I cut my hair before I left, so I could have had you even mail that if push came to shove.
Right.
Um, and for those that's
You
not,
actually cut down a lot.
hmm,
You actually cut down on some of that stuff a
oh
lot.
yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah, I brought a lot less stuff. They gonna get these same outfits, and they just gonna deal. Um, one of the things I think was I forgot to mention though is I shaved my beard down,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew I'd be wearing the N95
The
mask,
mask.
and when it's too long, it's like it pushes the mask so far off your face, it doesn't even come around your mouth really.
Right.
Um, so I had to cut down my beard. But yeah, anyway, so I get what was interesting is I get a text before my bag even comes, like, hey, one of your bags is here. And so it's like, if you want to have us deliver it or you want to have us hold the bag, you need to fill out this form. But because I had two bags, I didn't even know which bag was the one. So I had to wait for the right one to come so I could see which one they forgot. And so you fill it out. I put my address for the Airbnb in here. I told them I was only gonna be here till tomorrow, which I didn't mean to do, but it probably turned out to be smart because I actually got my bag tonight, but
Quicker.
before around
Yes.
8 o'clock. Um, because I think they thought, oh, he only has one day in town. We gotta hurry up and get it. Whereas if I would have told him I'm gonna be here till April, I probably wouldn't have got that shit till like fucking May. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they had a dude like drive out and deliver my bag. There's an app. There's a link they send you on email. You can track it.
Mm.
You can see how close he is to you. He called me before he got here. It was a really efficient process.
That's nice.
Considering it was
Yeah,
their fuck
because
up somehow.
yeah, because they literally inconvenience you, and I didn't realize that the airport was like far away. Because I be thinking it's here, because the airport here is like right up the street. I'm like, well, you can just go up the street. He was like, I can't just go up the street. I was like, oh my bad.
Well, it's New York City, and so it's that I don't have a car.
Right,
So I would, if it was in Charlotte and I had to drive 30 minutes to the airport and drive back, I'd do it.
right.
It's an hour, but it's whatever. I just do it. Here, that same trip will be about $120 to get
Yeah,
back and
you
forth.
remember right? Because I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, you got the Uber, which gonna cost money.
Yeah,
No, mm-mm. Let that
and
be
I
at
don't
their
know.
expense.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the I don't know enough about the subway system to know how it works out there and how long it would take to get back out there to get my
Right. How
bag.
close to take you to the airport? I'm
Yeah,
blanking. Yeah,
time of night, all that type of shit. So I was just like, no, y'all, and also it wasn't my fuck up. Y'all bring my shit to me, you
correct.
know.
I feel you on that one.
So yeah, they brought it to me though, and it got taken care of, and I was, extremely happy that it was taken care of. Um, and it was funny because he definitely dropped my bag off in the most like, because they make it seem like you got to sign for this, you need to be there if you want to waive signing for it. And I'm glad I didn't say I was gonna waive my signature because he didn't even have me sign for it. But I guarantee you, if he would have tried to deliver this tomorrow when I was at work, he would have left this shit on the front steps, like, "Oh, I did my part.
Right.
Good luck with your Xbox, sir."
Right.
So
So you
he
was like,
called me,
I'm going to sign for it. Right. Which means you
right. So
can't
he
just leave it.
Right. So he called me about 5 minutes out, and I came downstairs and stuff. And then he like literally, I came downstairs. He was leaving it on the front steps, and the way that this thing is set up, the door has like a door to the public, and then a door that you open for the inside. I guess I don't know, to keep the riffraff off. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
they he left it outside the front door, and I was like, damn. He was like, you got it? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I'm glad I didn't bring my keys downstairs, so I'm glad I didn't just walk through expecting him to like come inside, because I would have got locked out. But yeah, I got my bags, and it looks like everything's in there, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because you know what? They'd have did that. They'd have been paying me for another motherfucking Xbox. That shit would have got missed because it was your responsibility
Mhm.
to get that bitch back to me. I said I was supposed to sign. I didn't sign. That's on y'all.
Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass is more than anything, but
Right.
yeah, so it looks like I got all my stuff, so that's good.
I'm glad you did. Yeah.
I'm ordering stuff for here that a couple things to drink and like water, things to drink, and getting stuff ready. I forgot. I think my lotion's in the bag I just got because I'm looking ashy right now. I'm looking like I'm about to tell everybody Kyrie Irving and Kanye West got a plan and y'all just
Tell
won't listen
everybody get
to
their
it.
alkaline water together.
Yeah, so either I gotta buy some lotion in the morning on my way to work, or or hopefully it's in one of my bags. But I didn't want to. That was the other thing. Some stuff I didn't buy because I was like, I think it's in my bag,
Hmm.
And man, I was so tired because like I
Oh yeah,
got
it was up
here.
early this morning.
Yeah, I got here. I ordered my stuff for the Airbnb or whatever. And then I just laid down, and it was so hot in here because it's fucking radiator.
Mm.
Which I tried to turn it off. I actually hit them up and said, "Can I just turn this shit off?" I get that the average person want to
Yeah,
be in toasty ass 85 degrees.
but
I
that's
don't.
not you. You it burns you up. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they coming by tomorrow, so maybe they can look at that. But I was like, like so I hit them up like, "Yo, can y'all do that?" And they said, "Well, um, we can take the air conditioning. We're coming by tomorrow to do some maintenance stuff anyway. We could take the air conditioning units out the window." I said, "No, leave
Mm-mm.
those. I want to be
Mhm.
cold. I want like, please don't take them. If y'all about to leave this heater on, then y'all definitely need to give me the motherfucking air conditioning, um, or whatever, because I ain't trying to do that.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, it was too hot, and so they had like a fan in here, the AC,
Yeah, and
and
they don't believe in ceiling fans up there. I don't know what they
right.
got against ceiling fans. I don't know what ceiling fans done did to y'all, but they like, no bitch, we don't do ceiling fans. I'm like, why?
But yeah, so I just had to lay the fuck down. So I just laid down for a few hours, and I was just in here just chilling out, cooling, and trying to refresh myself. I was a little They have no elevator in this one. So I was on the
Okay.
third floor. I had to like pull all that heavy shit up to the third floor. So I was cramping up a little bit and stuff. I was like, God, this is a beast. I just need to lay down and drink water. So that's what I've been doing. I
I don't
still haven't
blame you.
eaten anything, but uh I just don't think I eat when I travel, really.
You
It's just not
don't.
my thing. But yeah, other than that, everything it's been pretty cool. I'll be at work when they come by to fix like certain things in here tomorrow, hopefully I think like there's a light bulb out somewhere, um maybe they can turn this radiator down some or something like that. Um and it's actually a really nice place, like especially for New York. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
NYC, so um, it's not like big as our apartment, but because I've stayed with these people before, and this time I used their website rather than Airbnb. They kind of cut me a break on how much it costs. Like it actually cost me less this time than it cost me last time. And they also are so because it was kind of last minute, I'm gonna have to move at some point, like I'm gonna move from this place back to the old place I was at.
Mm-hmm.
But this place is kind of a hookup, man. It's like 2 bedrooms. Nobody has 2 bedrooms here.
Mm-mm. Not too quick.
Um,
You gonna have a roommate.
right. It's obviously fully furnished and shit. I wouldn't have I'm not gonna be somewhere for 4 months and buy furniture
Mm-mm.
or live on the ground, So but yeah, it's fully furnished. And like and then the door thing now is I got a video so I can see the people coming in. Last time
That's
I was just
that's
all vibes.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Last time he was going off vibes. I'm like, I think I ordered something. Hopefully that's an Amazon package. And not the serial killer, you know. Uh,
Because if not, he got me. He faked as Amazon driver. I guess I'm dead. But it
right,
got here on time.
right.
Apparently, with my stabbing and death too.
So yeah, that worked the whole time. And uh yeah, it's been pretty cool. And then in the last place, it didn't have an air conditioner. I just would open the windows.
Mm.
And luckily it was near close to the winter time, so opening the windows would always give me a little breeze. And maybe that's what I'll have to do at some point in here. But here they got 3 air conditioners in different rooms and shit. So
Right, because they don't. A lot of them places are old, so they don't have central air. Right.
they got a lot of closet space. Too. There's no
That's
TVs
good.
in the bedrooms, but that's fine.
Hmm.
I'll figure something out with that. But yeah, man, it was it was a pretty. This is one of those things where it's like a little bit of adversity, but not anything major, And obviously, I would have preferred to have a month or so to plan this out because I think routine is just important. And with tomorrow being the first day of the show, I would like to know my way, around my little area a little bit better. I like to, you know, figure out, how I'm gonna do my sleep schedule, podcast stuff, and it looks like I'm gonna have to figure it out on the fly, which I'm totally capable of, but it's a little bit overwhelming. So,
I can see that. Yeah, it's just a little slight adjustment, but I've been good. Cause
mhm.
we was up like super early this morning, so I came back. I ate some cereal, and I went back to sleep.
I thought you did because I had texted you when I landed and you didn't say nothing. I was like, she probably knocked out. I don't
I
blame
I was gone because and the thing is, I think because we was trying to pack and get everything done, and yesterday was kind of long because
Mhm,
you did the thing with Keith and Hamda. We recorded 3 guys
mhm,
on. We did our show, and so with us trying to do everything and everything's just kind of heightened. So I was up really late this morning. So by the time we got up, I may have had like a few hours of sleep.
mhm.
So like when I lay down, I lay down on the couch in my favorite spot that you got to wake me up in every night and just went to sleep. And so by the time I woke back up at like 10 or 11, I was like, oh, the system was tired.
Nah, I don't blame you. I thought you'd be tired. I was tired, so yeah, I don't blame you. And yeah, it's just adjusting, getting everything set up. The host gave me the wrong Wi-Fi password thing. So for a while I was like, okay, now I can't be in here without
Without no
Wi-Fi and shit
Wi-Fi.
because the podcast has to happen.
Right.
So and it can't all be from the hotspot on my phone. We'll run out of space at some point.
Right.
Another thing too, just heads up for people that love the show. YouTube, we can't post anything for a week.
Mm-mm.
Apparently
YouTube was like, y'all was getting too fancy with Guess the Race.
we be doing too much hate speech over here, and the next strike is
We
permanent. We
flagged.
won't have a YouTube, so I don't know what to do.
Wow.
Somehow Alex Jones made it, but we didn't. They don't understand sarcasm or humor or any of that shit. They was like,
Mm-mm.
nah, we don't care if you black. You hate somebody. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
Me and that trying to be funny, y'all. This is one reason why I took everybody. I was like, why don't y'all get it? I was like, because they had too many rules and regulations and shit like that. And
Yeah,
I was like, it's just very hard to be over there. It's like everything is they got the robots to run. So you appeal, then they be like, nah, bitch, we said what we said. You
right,
did something wrong. What did I do? I don't know.
right.
It's just wrong. You're like, well, bitch, at least
Free,
explain or tell me what the word was. Like they're like, nope, we just you out.
freedom of speech is just for Elon Musk and them.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's been most of my day. I'm gonna try to get something to eat before I go to bed for sure, just because I haven't eaten since yesterday, so it's probably good to get something. I have been drinking my water and stuff though, so um and then yeah, game theory tomorrow morning, get in the office and see what it do. And get used to all this routine again, the COVID testing and being around people and wearing the mask and working in the writers room and all that stuff. I know we got some new writers on board this year, so be cool to meet them. And this year we have a head writer, Zach Rice, who was on our podcast earlier this year. He's gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
head writer. He's like one of the youngest head writers ever. I think he's like 20 something, 27, 28.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh, he
that.
is very bright. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to that. And I think some of these people have been here for a couple weeks, so they've met each other. They've gotten to do the meet and greets, and I haven't. And just I want to get in there and get to work. on everything, get up to speed, um, and see what I can do. So I'm looking forward to all that.
Cool, cool. I am too. Like I said, for my day, I've just been chilling and resting and watching the football games.
Mhm.
The Panthers won. I'm
I
surprised they
saw
won. I
that
was like,
black
y'all niggas
coach.
out here trying to win.
Well, they got that black coach, man. He can't get with the tanking program. That's not his. Like that's just gonna fuck his
Mm-mm.
career up. So he got to do his best. And I mean, that brother seemed like he can coach, man. They take everything from this dude. Like McCaffrey is on the 49ers balling, and
Mm-hmm.
they traded away all the wide receivers, all this shit, and they still find a
Mm-hmm.
way to go out there and win. And they beat, I think, Seattle, which is a pretty good team right now with Geno Smith. So
Mm-hmm.
um, definitely no slouch. So yeah, I saw that game. I saw some of that game on the red zone, and was like, okay, I see y'all. You love to see it.
Right. So I was really happy that they won. So I just been sitting right here chilling and stuff like that.
And I saw the
Uh
Hornets was losing to the 76ers when I
oh
got my
yeah, oh yeah. I think they was losing when I came in here too. Yeah, they
yeah.
they like I said, it's one of those things where I love to watch the Hornets, but like we said before, the
Mhm,
the f- basically starting five is out, or the bulk of the starting five is out, which is the bulk of the scoring. And
mhm,
so you have people that otherwise would be like second string or might not even get any run at all, actually getting run, which is a good thing.
mhm,
But you have to adapt and adjust. It's like our second and third strings for some of them, and but we're playing other people's first strings, and so
mhm,
that makes a big difference. And so a lot of the games, even some of the games we've been to, they'll actually be in the game, but it will be stuff like we can't get any offensive stops. We can't get, I mean,
right.
no defensive stops.
Mhm,
We don't get any offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds.
mhm,
It's a lot of uh sometimes, and you can just tell people aren't used to being out there in the court. There's no cutting to the ball. There's
mhm,
no tiring at the defense. There's none of that. It's like somebody get the ball, like they're dribbling, and there's nothing to open up to allow the flow of the ball. And when they do it, it's actually beautiful to watch. And there are some players where I'm actually really interested to see some of these players play. And regardless of what happens this year, I am really excited for next year when Lamelo Ball and all of them come back.
it might come back this year. I
Yeah, they
think
might
I
be.
think you and my mom probably get to see him. I only got to see him play that one like preseason game and he got hurt, and then I didn't get to see him play again. But I think at some point those guys will be coming back possibly, and you and my mom will get to see him probably.
Yeah, yeah. Like I told you, for my mom, my road. Your mom is my road dog when it comes to the game because I know she's dependable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not begging and pleading nobody to go with me. I know I tell your mama the time, and your mama is an on time person. If
Yeah.
she pick me up an hour before the game, we get
Mm-hmm.
there about 30 minutes before the game. We go on up there eating the buffet line when ain't nobody in there, and we sit down and we enjoy the game. And you know me, I'm a big sucker for the specials. I love the specials. When we go in there, they be like, these things is on special. So if they have like the sweaters or the t-shirts, I buy me one, I buy her one too. So we all gonna be having, by the time we get finished, we got tons of Hornet shit. I was like, so we both gonna be going to the Hornets game. And sometimes I be forgetting because I have like Hornets earrings, like I got a bunch of Hornets shit. So sometimes I be forgetting. I be looking like a honeybee up in there. And sometimes people be asking me for help. Because one time I had went in there to go pick something up, and the lady asked me, like, I knew help. She was like, yeah, could you tell me for so and so? I was like, baby, I don't work here. She was like, you got all that Hornet stuff on? I was like, oh shit, I forgot. I be forgetting. I was like, yeah, ain't too many people gonna be walking around here with no Charlotte Hornet earrings on.
She just need to appreciate the drip. That's all. You know,
Yeah,
that's all.
so
They just trying
I
to show a
actually
little love.
yes, I actually really do enjoy going to the games. And actually I enjoy going because they have like two sides. They have one for the general public. Well, actually three entrances, but they have literally have one for the general public and one for the season ticket holders. And so me and your mom started going to the season ticket holders. I was like, oh bitch, I'm never going through the regular line. I'm trying to tell you, once I upgrade, I don't downgrade. So I was like, oh bitch, I can just walk over here and just go straight into the arena. Like I'm like walk straight through. Like it's I don't have to go through all no bullshit. I was like, no, baby, I don't downgrade. I only go up. Like I'm be like, oh no, the pause. I'm not trying to hear that.
I
Nope.
forgot to mention, I did. Speaking of the pores, I did see a huge rat, a dead rat today. So I got that out the way. Last time it took me a long time to even see like a living rat.
Oh no.
Uh, this time immediately, I looked in the alley and I mean it looked like it was big enough to be like a possum or something, or
Oh no.
one of them Australian ones or them Florida ones. It was that was the biggest rat I've ever seen. It was dead, so some
Is that the
got
one
to
you
it.
took the picture of?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I
Mm-mm.
don't know. I mean, people saying, yeah, well, it's dead. I'm like, what killed it? Because if it wasn't like heart
Was it a
disease,
rat suicide? Rat on rat crime? I don't know.
if it wasn't heart disease, it's a bigger rat out that motherfucker somewhere. Like just him and four Ninja Turtles, sipping on ooze and eating
Right.
pizza. I'm scared.
So something I don't blame you. Something happening out there. I don't blame you. But other than that, I've been doing good. I'm really looking forward to going to the games
Mhm.
with your mom and I know we had started going earlier too, and I realized that when we leave earlier, it's less stressful, and you can actually like see the top of the games and things like that.
Yeah,
So been really enjoying that. But what's been funny is because sometimes we go to the game. It's more. I know we went to the game where we played the Knicks. It was more Knicks fans than Hornets fans.
I
I was like, oh,
know.
they rolling deep. All
They
I
were
see was
weak.
the orange and blue. I was like, oh, they's
I think
representing down south.
that's also because of all the injuries and stuff. People probably selling their tickets like, man, we ain't gonna get to see LaMelo. We ain't gonna get to see. Obviously, Miles Bridges is out over that domestic violence shit. Like the team is losing. I think a lot of people just selling their tickets too.
Mm,
We can cover a little bit of news before we get out of here. R.
okay.
Kelly denied any involvement in the release of his album. I Admit It. I Admit It was an album that he released. Well, was released by his record company. Uh, for a few hours. I saw a few people
A few
like,
hours.
yeah, because I think they took it off of streaming platforms. If I'm not mistaken, I
Cause
don't think it stayed up there.
okay, because it probably wasn't supposed to be out.
Something happened,
Mm-mm.
like
Somebody made a mistake, and then somebody was like, "Did you send that?"
right.
And I was like, "Oh shit, it's streaming."
Oh shit, did Pocket go down? I don't know. Now I
I don't
can't.
know.
My article not coming up. It won't let me click on the article. Okay, well, he did. Oh wait, maybe I can use my phone. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I
Mm-hmm.
can look at my phone. But yeah, he is now saying that he had nothing to do with the release of his album from Behind Bars.
And I
I
kind of
didn't
don't.
listen to it,
I didn't even know it was
so
out.
were the songs sounding like he was recording from jail, or is this some shit he recorded? I had so many questions, but I wasn't gonna listen to find out. Um,
Me either.
but it was like, did he record this in jail, and then it sounded like he recorded in jail, and niggas still listen to it, or did he record this before jail, and then somehow they just now put it out? And why is it called I Admit It? You know what I mean? Like, um, he says, I wouldn't even put an album out right now while I'm dealing with all this stuff anyway. Okay. I hope people recognize my voice and know that. I mean, R. Kelly, we know you're not a reliable narrator.
Mm-mm.
You haven't always been forthcoming and honest. So you can't be upset if people don't believe you, you know.
It's true. You can't be upset.
Um, but yeah, his legal team is working to find out who may have put the album out. His label, Sony Music, has denied any involvement in the album. The
How the
outlet
fuck did
reports
it get out
how did
then?
it get out? It was released by In Grooves, a distributor owned by Universal Music Group, not Sony. Shortly after it was released, it was removed from Spotify, Apple Music. Yeah, what was the point?
Yeah, somebody gonna know who put that shit out.
Like, was it a setup? Did they have a R. Kelly impersonator put out a album that said he did it? Like, I don't understand what the point would be, because either you're making
Mm-mm,
money off of it, and I don't think he makes money off his music anymore.
he doesn't.
So I who knows what the fuck happened with that shit. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty crazy story. Especially with him saying he had nothing to do with it. Like, that's a whole nother level of R. Kelly-ness is
Yeah,
you
yes,
know.
it is.
I thought this was his OJ if I would have did it moment. And it turns out
If I
it's
would
not.
have.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna, that was gonna be the whole thing. It's like, oh, this is what I would have did, but no, I didn't do it, guys. I didn't do it. Speaking of didn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
Derek Jackson announced divorce from his wife, Denia Jackson. And y'all, I don't know if y'all
Yeah.
remember Derek Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
We played the video a while ago of him and his wife when he got busted for cheating.
Yes, he was filming videos in his car and shit. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then had no to drag her out there with that bonnet on, embarrassing her.
Yeah, and a lot of people turned on her just for the bonnet, which I thought was kind of crazy. Uh,
Right. Ain't nothing wrong with a bonnet.
there was like, she got that bonnet on. What's no wonder he cheating and shit. But she is a person that like dresses down and doesn't, like, she believes in like a weird type of chastity type of thing, and women shouldn't be doing this, that, and the other. And so at any rate, she's been putting out videos over the last few, months. And the last one I saw was she was cursing people for talking about her marriage and all kinds of shit. Like, it was like, and not cursing like cussing like curse words, but
Yeah, but
cursing.
cursing. Yeah, I know.
You
Yeah,
know
I
what
know
I
what you're
mean?
saying. Yeah.
And she's always quoting these Bible things or whatever. And he's just a good example of a dude that talks a good game and is clearly grifting and hustling and fucking all these women. So a picture came out of him with some woman in Miami. His shirt was out unbuttoned. They was holding
Mhm.
drinks,
His shirt was
and
extra tight.
suddenly the divorce the
The
divorce
divorce
news broke.
post, yeah, the divorce uh Instagram posted, it's like, I'm sorry y'all for all y'all that had faith in me. Me and my wife, we are no longer together.
Right.
Respect our privacy and blah 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 blah.
Yep. Yeah, it was kind of sad and funny at the same time, because like
Hmm.
that shit has been so messy. That couple's been out there. He clearly just don't care about her. He's doing all
Mm-mm.
this. Yeah, he does all this like relationship advice that was catering to women in a pandering way, where
Hmm.
like he wasn't even living by his own advice, but it was all ladies this, ladies that. And the people that would be fans of that are gonna be other women,
Of course.
and he's fucking other women. So like, it was like his calling card of dissing men to appeal to women
And
was
they
just
showed
him being
up.
a dog.
It
Yeah, but it
was
was
like, oh, word, you rang.
right. It worked right into what he was doing. But yeah, I don't know if she fouled or he's fouled, but he's the one that put out the post. Over the
Hmm.
past several months, my family and I have gone through some many changes. Some of you have speculated, while others of you have reached out to offer support as we privately establish this new normal for ourselves and our beautiful children. I love that some of you speculated while others have reached out. Like, nigga, I'm not your friend.
Mm-mm.
Like, you, and keep in mind, this is
And
what
I didn't
happened
make
to,
this my business. You did.
right. Like, all these relationship guru people put they shit out in the public and then be like, how y'all gonna judge me? It's like, nigga, you sold us judgment. You said, please
Yeah.
judge me. That was your whole brand. You are nobody without people judging, right? You said, look at me, I'm a great person. Please judge me on how great I am. And then when they get busted for not being great, it's like, wow, y'all really gonna turn on me? Earlier this year, after much prayer and counseling and deep consideration, we decided to go our separate ways and file for divorce. Making the decision to file was one of the hardest decisions of my life, but I found peace knowing that our mission of raising healthy children, starting with healthy and whole parents, is still being accomplished. From falling in love as just teenagers to becoming spouses and now co-parents, I'm grateful for the years we spent together and wouldn't have traded them for anything. I was blessed to have such an amazing person in my life. I will forever be thankful for all that she meant to our family. They were married for 4 years. So yeah, I don't know, dog. That I just know the dude was kind of, I don't think you can embarrass and drag a woman through life like this and just expect her to keep taking it forever. And also, like,
Mm-mm.
I also don't think staying with a nigga that's dragging you is ever gonna give you that. That they're never gonna truly respect you and figure it out. Like, there's no incentive for the person to figure it out. And she was a person that put a whole lot of like, this is my worth and my value is my relationship and the fact that we're together and that you hating bitches need to shut it. Like, she didn't say bitches, but essentially
Mm-hmm.
y'all hating. And so yeah, it's kind of, the writing was on the wall the whole time.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, people do mess up and shit like that, but it's one of those things where you're not gonna have me in the background looking crazy over your fuck up. What the fuck am I doing that for?
Mm-hmm.
You go apologize publicly, not me.
Right. And it's just crazy because, like, even in that statement, I guarantee you it's still pandering somewhat. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you that's not the full story, the real story, the whole story. It's the story that makes him look the best. We decided da da da. Nigga, we saw you with no shirt on behind this groupie. So I'm wondering what her side of the story is. And
Mm-hmm.
her hustle is going to be busted too, because a big part of her grift or money, whatever you call it, the way she
Mm-hmm.
got paid, she had started a thing where she was talking about relationships and staying through infidelity and all this shit.
Yep.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's over, because now all them
That
people
people
that
ain't gonna
was
give. Mm-mm.
right. Why I'm gonna pay you $133 per class in person when you just crying and sobbing because you getting cheated on? Like, I'm good. I can do that by myself.
Ain't that the truth?
Uh, so let's do some election news as well. Trying to see if I can get my sound set up
Yeah,
and
I say, yeah, these niggas trying to steal the election, y'all. It don't matter. The election is coming. We always have an election mode, so they still trying to steal it, y'all.
yeah, they don't give a damn about us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, now I gotta wait on this thing to try to download the music before I can play it. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's there we go. This is why we did this. Is because I said, what do I not know? What do we need that I don't have? And apparently, I need to go and download.
Da-da-da-da-da. Boom, 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 boom. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. So this is some intro music.
It said everything was up to date, but apparently it wasn't.
Yeah, apparently it's
So
not.
let's talk about some of the machinations happening right now. Kirsten Cinema decided to quit the Democratic Party, and she wants to be an independent for Arizona in their 2024 Senate race.
You know what? I hate to be like this, but fuck that bitch. Fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck. She kissed my whole black ass. She's been a motherfucking problem from the beginning. She lied to them people. They voted her in. She voted against everything that she told people she stood for.
Mm-hmm.
Shit came up. She stood. She was the person that went up there and did that little cute curtsy thinking shit was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck her.
Yeah, white people made her a hero so fast. It's just like, if there's any criticism of the quote unquote left, the side we're on, if there's any like criticism, I think that's somewhat valid, is how quickly we are to use somebody's marginalization as representation.
And those things are
And
not always the
sometimes they
same.
have not earned that, because people
Correct.
were like, she wears skirts, she's bisexual, she has purple hair, and then was like, what does she stand for?
Right.
Because
What does
y'all
she
celebrating her and
represent?
giving her flowers, and she hasn't done a goddamn thing yet. And she sold a good game. Her people voted for her. I'm not saying that she ran a bad campaign, but as soon as she started acting up, it took people a long time to be like, oh, she's a problem. Because it was like, well,
Right.
as a bi woman, it's representation. When she went up there and gave that fucking thumbs down with
With that
attitude,
little curtsy.
I said, oh, I've seen this type of white woman before. This is a problem. This is
Yeah.
problematic. We are in trouble.
Right now to that, I personally think the biggest reason why she did it because people are pissed and they was like, "Fuck you, bitch! We're gonna run against you." Like people when people caught on, they was like, "What you ain't gonna do is win the motherfucking again because you fucking hauled everything. You stopped so much shit from passing. You and that other nigga sat there and crossed y'all motherfucking arms when we was trying to get shit passed. Fuck
Yeah, Joe
you."
Manchin. Yeah, she has no path to victory, is what all I'm taking out of this. Her people,
Right.
I guarantee they looked at the polls. I guarantee you they looked at whatever numbers and shit, and they was like, oh shit, you can't win the Democratic primary. You pissed too many people off. You
Yes.
definitely gonna run opposed, and you definitely gonna get primary. Run independent. Now her path to winning as an independent is impossible as well, in my opinion.
Right.
She may be hoping to spoil, some dummies who willing to vote for her if they're Democrats. I don't know who those dummies would be, but yeah, I think it's obvious what she's doing, and it's not even clever. It's literally what she was forced to do because she don't have another path to victory. And also, this is the power of getting Warnock. This is the power of getting
Yes.
51.
You took the power out
Um,
of her hands, so now she
because
can't do that bullshit no more.
she's still gonna caucus with the Democrats, so she can't. You know what I'm saying? She can't fully push her way. The only people that are willing to entertain her would be us. She'll never be Republican enough to win the Republican seats because Republicans are, extreme at this point. Like, you can't
Mhm.
have a history of I fucked with the Democrats, but now I'm on your side. They'll be like, what? No. So so she doesn't have a choice but to do kind of like what Bernie Sanders does, where it's like, yeah, I'm actually I'm so different than y'all. Anyway, I'm gonna be voting the same as y'all because I mean, what the fuck I'm gonna do? Vote with the Republicans?
Right.
But yeah, I thought that was some funny ass machinations she pulled, and
Mhm.
she ain't
Mhm.
shit for all
Mm-mm.
that. But
No, she not. And like I said, Pepper's Farm never forgets. And bitch, you was a motherfucking problem all year long. It
mhm,
was so fucking frustrating to
yeah,
watch this.
I'm just glad she doesn't have the power she used to have.
That that's my biggest point, and that's why fuck anybody that was talking about Georgia don't count. Then there was probably a lot of white people. Georgia counted. Georgia mattered because now
Mhm.
she don't have no power, and since she ain't got no power, she was like, "Well, I guess I changed my party."
Trump Mar-a-Lago lawsuit ends after former president declines to appeal the ruling. Um, So yeah, he declined to appeal a court order ending his lawsuit challenging the FBI's seizure of documents from his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, paving the way for investigators to finally get a hold of the bulk of documents collected in the search. Yeah, and this is always a stalling tactic. He's never right.
Mm-mm.
Like, that's one of the things about Trump that you never really see. He very rarely wins court battles. What happens when we
He,
say a win for Trump is normally a stalling tactic. It's like, oh, he won the right to push this 3 months down the line. But
mm-hmm.
it's not like he's winning and they're going, oh no, he's not guilty, or no, we couldn't find any evidence. It's always like a judge sided with him temporarily. And stalling for him is big because I think he wanted to stall past the midterms, and now
Mm-hmm.
we're in December. A lot of people knew this was coming, but also that's why he ran too, is because he's trying to
Yes.
keep all this shit from coming home to roost on his ass. And it's like, I'm running for office, you can't prosecute me. And Merrick Garland's like, you know what, that's a good point, I'll hire somebody to prosecute your ass then. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
take my foot off the gas for you. And so yeah, him seeding this to me is just meaning he ran out of time.
Oh yeah, they was like, you can't push this back no more. Go ahead and give these people the things that they want. He's
Yeah.
always been like that. He's been sued umpteen times. And that's why he delays. So a lot of times people give up. But you talking about the federal government? They was like, bitch, we got all the time in the world. So but
and
you can't outwait us.
and on top of that, his own lawyers found a couple more documents that he had that was classified. Like it's your own lawyers at this point, man. Like you got this shit in here. Like what are
And
we
guess
even
what?
wasting
Them
time for?
lawyers is like, bitch, I'm not going to jail for you. Here they are, here they are, federal government. Y'all don't know. Y'all not gonna be knocking down my goddamn door.
Another court ruling in Georgia have rejected claims by the former president and some of his allies for executive privilege, preventing them from testifying in court. So a big part of this Republican strategy for Trump has been, oh, we'll just say he has executive privilege. And that is just a nebulous, all encapsulating exemption from any norms. It just whatever they needed to mean that day, that's what it means. And he's like, well, and everyone that works for me got executive privilege, so we don't want to testify, we don't have to, because we can make a point that this is going to endanger the freedom of America. And why, I don't have to explain it. That's executive privilege, and I said
Right.
what I said. And the U.S. Justice Department and special Georgia grand jury said nah, like, or at least
Yeah,
the court said nah.
that shit don't cover that. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. um and so these people will now have to appear before South Carolina Supreme Court, before the
Like
Fulton County.
you quote unquote might be covered, but it don't mean they covered.
Yeah.
They wouldn't president.
I'm sorry, I meant the South Carolina Supreme Court ruled they will have to appear before the Fulton County grand jury that's investigating his efforts to overturn the election in Georgia. So this is a big win, because it means these people will have to actually face some questions in the day in court. They may all plead the fifth, I don't know, but pleading the fifth is still an indication of some level of complicity. So I'm like, and it's the thing is whenever the bad shit happens, it feels like the news spreads like wildfire, and then all the like the sky's falling, Chicken Little motherfuckers come out. But this is a slate
Well,
of
shit
rulings that
is
have gone against him, and I haven't
tricky.
seen nearly as much like credit to Merrick Garland. I haven't
No,
seen nearly as much credit to the justices. I haven't seen nearly as much like, okay, they're gonna get him. It's all like crickets right now.
right, because and this was what really frustrates me about the Democratic Party and some subsections of the Democratic Party is like complain, 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 complain. Something good happened. Oh fuck that, that wasn't enough. Complain, complain. I was like, well,
Yeah,
bitch, it's actually some good shit happening. You can't dismiss it just
right.
because it ain't bad. I not like I
It's
said,
like
it's
they rather
disaster
be
based.
right. Yes, it's disaster based. He also had the special master struck down by appeals court. The DOJ won. A 3-judge panel said Judge Aileen Cannon erred in appointing a special master to review the documents seized by the FBI. She was the one that was she's a Trump judge employee. And so this ruling, a lot of people was like, that there's no precedent for this ruling. The reasoning makes no sense. There's no logic here. And clearly you're just doing this to help the guy who appointed you to your office. And boom, here we go. A month or two later, because it was always a stall tactic, the appeals court is like, yeah, it's ridiculous and you can't do that.
Right.
It's all just trying to push everything down the line. It keeps working. A judge ordered rural Arizona County to certify midterm election results because they was trying to pull that like I can't certify this. This is theft. How we know that the votes was right, and they said, okay, tell you what, bro, y'all ready to go to jail for this?
Right. Lock them up. Fuck this.
Because
Y'all wasting time.
contrary to popular belief, you can go to jail for the shit that y'all doing. You have a job, and we not just gonna let you shirk responsibilities. That's not a Democrat or Republican thing. You can't just disenfranchise 47,000 voters if y'all don't. And so they said certify your shit by Monday or motherfuckers going to jail.
And guess what? Shit got certified, didn't it?
Yeah, they
Right.
certified it then.
Right. But why should I have to threaten your ass to throw your ass in jail?
Yeah, the scary part to me is that it still came down to a tribunal of judges, and it was a 2-1 vote. It wasn't a 3. Which
Who was
is
this one judge that said this shit was okay? It's not.
right. But yeah, these Republicans have been trying to like steal the elections in places like Arizona and stuff. That one woman who used to be a news reporter, and ended up running for office as an election denier, Carrie Lake, she lost, and then she refused to concede, which
Okay.
is so funny to me the way that this works. If you win, the election counts.
Right. If you win, it counts.
None of them go, I won, but the election is rigged. That can't be right. They all go, if I won, legit. It's just the unreasonableness of whiteness, and that I'm going to steal this thing. If I don't get my way, the whole thing is rigged. It's not me. I'm flipping over the monopoly board and I'm running out the house.
Hmm.
But yeah, the other thing too is I don't I think it's weird how much we know that they're gonna deny the results when they lose. And yet we still wait for them to like concede. They told you what they were gonna do. Like what?
Okay.
Well,
I'm not conceding. And we still
yeah,
gonna certify this and push this shit along. Put like this. I don't concede. Noted. All right. Let's get everything together and let's keep it trucking, baby.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't even put her on TV.
Mm-mm.
Like, okay, we don't come back to your party. You lost. We already know what you're gonna say, and we need to live in reality. So we don't need to put you on the air, because one of the things I think Republicans kind of learned from Trump was that the controversy around him saying, I didn't lose the election, y'all lost that shit is just as valuable because of the publicity from it. For it's been 2-3 years at this point, and he's still just on. So I ain't losing. They stole the election, and they cover it over and over again. They put him on TV as if they're waiting for him to be like, "Oh, you know what, guys? Oh, my bad. I thought I
No.
won, but I really lost." Like, it's never gonna happen. And so these
No.
other Republicans are trying to siphon off that attention and be like, "I'm gonna do the same thing."
Right. And and the reality is they act like that they're talking to somebody that has logic and truth and morals and
Mm-hmm.
all that shit, but you're not. So that shit is not going to happen. And it's one of the things that really, really frustrates me. Because a lot of times it's white people that legitimize this shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody else is actually being like shit is okay because it's not. Majority
Right.
of people is like this is wrong, and even some white people are like the fuck is this? This is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I might be upset that we lost, but what we're not gonna do is be in fucking total chaos. That has a
Right.
lot to do with why everybody that Donald Trump supported lost. Because even some Republicans are like, hey, we still got to live in some form of reality. I can't wake up every day and it's chaos. I can't wake up every day and not knowing what the federal government is going to do. I can't wake up every day and not knowing how things are going to function and have laws go back and forth. Like, I cannot do this. Too many Americans are fighting against that type of reality, because a lot of people is like, certify the fucking election.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fuck is this? And they're getting to the point where people in their own party are starting to turn against them now because they're like, no, we can't have the crazies running it. But the problem is y'all allowed the crazies in the room, and so the crazies took over. That's on y'all.
Yep. Um. So, also the Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rose was found guilty on seditious conspiracy over the January 6th riot.
Good.
So that's another, like, once again, man, I think people are skipping over these victories,
Mm-hmm.
and over some of these things that to me are pretty fucking important.
And they're
Like,
huge. And they're huge. And what really frustrates me is that all this shit's happening and there's still going to be some ignorant person online and on social media talking about what they doing for us, do something. You're like, well, bitch, they doing shit. What the fuck are
yeah,
you talking about?
and that's seditious conspiracy is a big charge. That's not just some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's not treason, but it's the next best thing. You know what I mean?
Whatever it takes, get them.
And yeah, and they're getting these high profile people. And I told people they were working their way up. And it was, oh, it's moving too slow. This other person only got 6 months. This one person got 3 years. It's like, because they weren't
Because
the
they
main
ain't
people. They didn't
nobody.
do shit. Like
Right.
like if you just walked up in there looking like, with a QAnon hat on and shit, like you a terrible person and you should face some type of penalty. But you know, those weren't the guys to get for 20 years. And I know, we just wanted, um we just want to see them all just get the fucking death penalty, probably is what people want. But
and
the
that's
truth of the
not
matter is that
happening.
wasn't on the board, and it was
Mm-mm.
so many people, you weren't gonna even be able to do that many cases like that. But
Right.
this motherfucker could be facing up to 20 years.
Go get them.
Yeah, like that.
Trying to
And
overthrow the government because you setting an example to be like, no, bitch, try this shit again.
all, and it wasn't just him, all of them were found guilty of obstructing official proceedings. So like those were the motherfuckers I was really waiting to see what would happen, because those are the people that are in that fucking like cults and the that, to me, a terroristic organization. The whole 3%ers, and we got the sanctity and the right to just fucking overtake the government at any point because we feel like it. We the real Americans. Like, nah, man, I appreciated that they went and got their ass. So good, and good job, DOJ, and keep getting them, keep going, follow this shit all the way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I'll say this one. Republicans have post election epiphany on mail-in voting. Now they're saying they want their people to early vote and mail vote.
The shit that they claimed it wasn't valid, the shit that they did everything they could when doing COVID, they was like, no, get your ass in here, get this COVID. The shit that they in some states they were allowing people to drive up and drop them off and just making it as convenient as possible. Drop them off here and drop them off what
Yeah.
you
Now
know
that now that election denial has failed them for another round of elections, they blew these midterms. Now it's like, you know what, guys? We probably should stop doing that. We should actually tell people to vote if we want to win, because the people counting the votes are, whether they're Republican or Democrat, they're doing their jobs, and they're not going to just go, I'm a Republican, fuck it. Like, we seen what happened when you tried to test that in Arizona. Motherfuckers about to go to jail. So they was like, we need to actually tell people to vote. It's a little scary because some of these margins are so close. That might be what it is. You tell people to vote, and maybe they will. Maybe Republicans will win some of these races
yeah,
that they're losing.
right.
But
You tell people it's
yeah,
convenient for you now to mail in vote and things like that. But and the thing is, because it's like you're gonna have some people where it's convenient for them to do this, but also the reality, and this is just me, and I don't have the numbers behind it, but I would love to see the totality of their voting base that died because of coronavirus.
mm-hmm,
And none of them are willing to admit that them pushing this false stuff and them pushing COVID ain't real, that they wiped out a large percentage of people that may have voted for them, the percentage that
right.
probably could have pushed them over the top.
Which is
But
probably why. Which is
y'all sent
probably
them
why
people
they.
to their deaths.
Which is also probably why they said we got to go with election denial. We don't know if we got the numbers anymore. Let's just go with this shit. And yeah, you're right. But yeah, so the good news is that a lot of those election denier people lost their elections. Some
I'm,
won though. It ain't all good.
it ain't all good, but I'm
And
glad
that's why you
enough
have to
of them
stay
lost
vigilant.
to send a message that, hey, we are not here for this. We
Yeah.
don't want this. And it's also a lot of the Republicans for the first time going fuck Trump.
Mhm.
Like, I and it's dangerous, and this maybe this is just me, it's dangerous because a lot of people go anything that's associated with Trump, no. But what they fail to realize, some of the races that the Democrats won, if they would have ran anybody else, they would have
Yeah.
won. That's what people fail to realize. And so, what are you going to do when you have a time where it's no Trump, like he in jail or legally can't run again,
Mhm.
and there's nothing there but just regular ass Democrats coming out here, and people are just allowed to vote. Like what does the Democratic Party have to fight against that? And that's going to be really, really interesting because you've got to do something to get these people out to vote. Like you got to
Mhm.
do it. And I know it's hard and it's very frustrating because of voter suppression and all these other things. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I feel as though if the Democratic Party is smart, they would actually take the playbook from Stacey Abrams. She literally laid down the things that you actually need to do to
Hmm.
win, even though she didn't win, but she didn't win her races, but a lot of them winning her races because they didn't want a black woman. But her
Right.
strategy worked. But it works because other people
Yeah.
won their races. So it literally works. They go, no, 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 we don't want you, but we like your strategy though. And we'll
Yeah.
move these other people that don't want you.
If anything, man, it's time to double down. I'm with you. I think the what some people are breathing a sigh of relief and relaxing. And I'm like, no, it's not time to relax. It's time to really push the furthest you can on getting out the vote, on pushing policies that help people, on consolidating and affirming and codifying laws, especially voter laws. Is now's the time, because honestly, next time they won't try to shortcut of stealing an election if they don't have to. And if
Nope.
they can just get the numbers, they'll just get the numbers. If they can run a candidate that, instead of kissing Trump's ring and running candidates because they're scared of him, you'll have people stop being afraid. Mike Pence came out and said that that Donald Trump put his family in danger. Now
Mm-hmm.
that coward did not grow a backbone without a poll telling him to do so.
Of
He didn't,
course.
like, he sourced that and focus group that. But that means to me is like, that's a dude saying, wink, wink towards the rest of the party, we're moving on from Donald Trump. I was his biggest cuck. And now I'm going to move on from him publicly, even though I should have been moved on. Well, why didn't you before? Because you're making the signal like, Trump, we're out of use for Trump. He's all about himself. He's about to possibly go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to find a path forward without him. And here comes Mike Pence. Um, and I think that signal is one that we should be paying attention to on our side, because to me, them getting rid of Trump will lose them some. Of course, some MAGA voters will be lost. That's of course, but there's a lot of people that are willing to come back to the Republican Party, I think,
Mm-hmm.
for some semblance of moderate uh social messaging, while it's actually still extremist radical Republican move. So they like the idea of the, like, no, it's just fiscal Republican stuff. But yeah, you can't have an abortion, and no, you can't get married if you're gay. But look, we're not saying it as hateful as Trump was saying it. Okay, we don't like that. That's bad. But do we agree with everything that he would have passed? Sure.
Yes.
And so I think about that.
Yeah, and also just like the left get disenfranchised, the right got disenfranchised. That's what a lot of people fail to realize. Disenfranchisement is not a one party thing.
Mhm.
A lot of the apathy and all that stuff, it affected them too.
Right. And
And
he was an engineer of that, because he was telling them their votes didn't count, not to vote early. And I mean, that's the real messaging of election denial, is that none of this is real and it doesn't count. It doesn't make people go vote harder. They just go, well, yeah, it's all rigged, like you said. So when we lose, we'll be mad, but we're not gonna, like, I'm not gonna waste my time voting. You told me it don't matter.
correct. So why am I voting? Why would I waste my time? Why would I throw my hat in the ring? And there are a lot of lifelong Republicans that voted, but it's like I'm gonna leave certain spots blank. I just won't vote at all. So guess what? That's a vote going to neither party.
Yep.
And so that hurts them. Because they're not trying funny. They will vote. Like a lot of them
Mhm.
older white people. They go, oh, I'm coming out to the polls. But what I don't want is my party in shambles. What I don't want is my party looking like what it is now. I still support the things that they say. I just don't want it done like that.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some sword ratchetness and get out of here. We've given these people a lot tonight.
Okay.
A sword swallower says he won't be swallowing any more swords after life-threatening injuries. Now, he's supposed to be a professional, y'all. Now, if a professional sword person is telling you, I can get fucked up, I think you should listen to the fact that maybe swords aren't safe and you shouldn't just be out here having them.
I always thought that was a dangerous job, and I could never figure out why and how. Like a magic trick. I was like, the fuck is this?
He did a performance at Six Flags America in Washington, D.C., October 31st. Following a month-long medically induced coma and multiple surgeries, Scott Nelson, known as Murugan the Mystic, that's not even a real name, wrote on his Facebook page that the incident will leave him without work for 3 to 4 months and various medical bills. I won't be swallowing any more swords. I can never put my mother through this ever again, he said. I really thought I was going to die.
Ooh, a
Mm.
coma for 3 to 4 months. Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this shit is no joke. You can't get fucked up. And it's like, it's all fun and games until the sword go down the wrong pipe, you know?
And
Oh,
fuck around
yeah.
and he had a close cut.
Right. Oh. But yeah, it's definitely a tough thing to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then he's a 25-year veteran
Oh, so they've been doing
and
this for years.
he performed a 5 sword swallowing stunt with swords between 24 and 28 inches long and approximately a half-inch wide. He recalled feeling ill nearly 15 minutes after starting the stunt, a third of the way through the act. As a result, he said that he let go too soon. They rocked off each other and scissored out. That don't sound good. Okay. The only scissoring out I want to see is Janet Jackson and Monique. Okay. I don't want to see this. After being rushed to the hospital, doctors found that the sword sliced his abdominal cavity and pierced the lobe of his liver. Good news is I've quit smoking and I lost over 50 pounds, he said, setting up a GoFundMe campaign. Although this is the second incident in his career, he refers to himself on Instagram as the most dangerous man in show business and an ace of swords. Ace, man, he sound a little like maybe a B minus to a C of swords at best. Swords are very pass fail to me, but that's just me. On Facebook, he posted images of his wounds taken from a hospital bed that wrote that he had no idea just how bad it was. And listen, the injuries aren't like graphic in that like this bleeding and shit, but you can see from the scars that the sword clearly went out of his side and cut his side, or to fix it, they had to cut through his side to like fix the damage to what was done to him.
Woo.
Yeah. So yeah, Demetrius Atuna, the GoFundMe campaign organizer, added that Nelson will remain in the hospital for at least another week and has been unable to eat for a month. My goodness.
Yeah, you can't swallow nothing. Yeah.
They have a $20,000 goal on this campaign, and they'd only reached 6,000 at the time of this article, which is kind of sad. But it also means that people are like us. They're going, hey man, shouldn't be fucking with them swords. I'm gonna go give my GoFundMe to a kid with cancer. Cause yeah, damn, this article, yeah, it's only $6,192. So a lot of people was like, yeah, that's on you, man. You know?
Oh.
All right, that's can you see me? Is everything good?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. For some reason I got an error on my screen. Did it show y'all the dude getting cut or no?
No, we didn't see
Oh,
that
that's what it
picture.
was. Okay. Yeah, okay. I got like a little pop-up that said like people something went wrong. I'll try to share it one more time if it doesn't come. It's not a huge deal, but can you see me sharing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's like what did he sneeze while the swords was in him or some shit? Like
He has to sound like he had to hold him a certain way. He sounded like he said
yeah,
he let him go too soon. So when he
because he
did,
felt
I'm
sick.
assuming that they separated and just poked out on
Yes.
his sides. Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, sir.
No, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, everybody, and thank you, Karen, for being here. I think we're gonna be able to podcast like this. It seems like everything went swimmingly for the most part. I'll have to figure out
Good.
how to download those clips because that'll be important.
No problem.
But
And we're gonna keep recording. And
mhm,
like I said, we don't know about YouTube because we don't know what the
right,
violations is. And
right,
so, like I said, po people on YouTube, we'll be back in a week. So if you're on YouTube, you're like, where these niggas at? Come download this episode, and y'all know why y'all ain't getting no episode for a whole week. And
yep,
then from there, we'll see if we break the rule again, and they be like, well, y'all niggas just banned forever.
yeah. They don't even tell us what we did wrong.
Right.
They
You
just
don't
like
even know the
y'all should know.
word, the phrase,
Watch the
nothing.
whole video, y'all know. I'm like, all right, I guess so. Anyway, it was great to see your face. Miss you,
Yay,
and
miss you too.
I'll talk to you. I mean, we'll talk, but on the podcast tip, we'll talk to each other soon. And thanks to everybody for listening. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Bye, baby.